Financial tech companies PayPal and Square have been on a massive run-up over the past 12 months. PayPal is up over 99% this year, and their competitor Square is up over 207% this year as well. These companies have seen insane run-ups and have been making news headlines lately because both of them are buying into Bitcoin. In this video today, everyone, we're going to go over these two most recent purchases from these financial tech giants, PayPal and Square, to determine if we like this move by these companies and if we're going to jump in and buy these fintech stocks right now. PayPal and Square have both made announcements lately that they are getting into the Bitcoin space, and the most new announcement comes from PayPal announcing today new features to their platform that is going to allow you to buy and hold Bitcoin, and in the future it's going to allow you to use that Bitcoin to purchase from over 26 million different retailers across the world. Square also announced earlier this month that they spent over $50 million and invested into Bitcoin. That is huge news because that actually makes up around 1% of the fintech giant's total assets. So 1% of Square's total assets on the balance sheet are going to be held in Bitcoin at this current moment. So in this video today, we're going to focus on these two fintech giants, take a look at their current financial position, the future growth prospects for both companies, and go over these news headlines that they are getting into Bitcoin. Welcome back, everyone. As you know, I am the Gen Z investor, and every single day we talk about the stock market, go over different stocks you can buy and sell within your portfolio. And as we do every single day, we go over major market news headlines. And today's massive event was that PayPal announced this big jump into the crypto space. Bitcoin is a topic we don't really talk about on this channel. Usually we focus on more long-term dividend growth stocks or some of the top-end capital appreciation growth stocks, and we usually stay away from the Bitcoins or the Forex trading talks. But PayPal announced today that they have new features coming out in order to trade and shop using Bitcoin. And one of these news headlines has sent Bitcoin even higher, up today over 14.8% on the Bitcoin chart, coming in at over $12,700. And over the past 5 days, they have surged from around $11,300 all the way up to $12,750 for a Bitcoin. And you can see here, Bitcoin has been extremely volatile, a lot of ups and downs over the past year, but as of late, over the past 5 days, we have seen a massive run-up. And this is because PayPal is the new largest financial institution or somewhat of a digital bank or financial tech platform to announce it's entering the crypto space. So this is a new service that is going to allow people to buy, sell, and hold different cryptocurrencies coming out in a few weeks. Bitcoin and a few others are going to be held within PayPal, and by early 2021, they allow people to use these Bitcoins to make purchases from over 26 million retailers. So this news allowed PayPal to jump over 3% today and has sent Bitcoin's price even higher, like we saw up over 14% today alone. So this is a big shift away from the traditional payment method system. And of course, these fintech leaders, PayPal and Square, are trying to be ahead of the curve, be first to market, and they are taking a little bit of a chance with this Bitcoin and are kind of hoping that Bitcoin may be part of a future society. So central banks around the world have continued the idea of developing and creating their own digital currencies. 7 of the world's top central banks, including the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, recently sent out a framework of how the system could work. Meanwhile, other banks like the People's Bank of China have been forging ahead and actually started their own trials of their own proposed digital currency. So digital currency have really been a big market discussion as of late. A lot of federal banks are keeping that in mind and are actually thinking that it may be the future of currency, and Bitcoin is only one of the many out there on the market. A lot of other financial institutions or other major tech firms are getting into the Bitcoin space or dabbling in that market as well. So this announcement comes after other financial institutions have kind of entered into that market. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey's financial tech company Square, which is the next fintech company we're going to talk about today, has of course bought $50 million of Bitcoin. And if we take a look at that news headline, they announced earlier this month that they are investing $50 million to buy 4,709 Bitcoin, worth around that $50 million mark. and this represents around 1% of Square's total assets at the end of their second quarter in 2020. And Square believes that cryptocurrency is an instrument of economic empowerment, and this is the way the future is heading, and they want to be ahead of the curve and get in right now when they believe the price is lower than what we'll see in the next 5+ years. And it's a great idea to think if these fintech companies are getting in right now, we might see other major brands get into the Bitcoin space. For me personally, I will not be touching Bitcoin right now. We may get hate in the comments because some people love Bitcoin, some people hate it, but for me personally, I'm not there yet. I'm not saying never, and if I ever decide to invest even a small, maybe 1 to 2% of my portfolio into something like a Forex or a Bitcoin, I will let you know on the channel. But as of right now, I'm going to stick to my quality dividend paying equities on the stock market, and I believe that is best for my personal strategy and my personal growth. But I do want to go over these two fintech giants, their current financial position, and how we believe they're going to perform after this news has come out. So first, we're going to take a look at PayPal, up over 99% this year, currently trading at around $214 a share, and they're up over 6.36% today alone. They have marked up around $236 billion and have a forward PE of 54. If we compare that to Square, currently trading at $178 a share, they have seen a faster run-up this year and up over 200%. 12 months ago, one share of Square was trading around $63, and since the March lows, they have been on an insane run-up. You can see here, as of late, up over 204% on the 6-month chart and have a market cap at around $82 billion. They have a forward PE of 329, so of course, much higher than where PayPal comes in right now. Both Square and PayPal have some massive growth expectations over the next 5 years. According to Yahoo Finance, who takes together a group of different analysts and gets an average growth expectation from that larger group, shows over the next 5 years, they're expecting PayPal to grow at a rate of 23% average each and every year, which is a nice double-digit growth rate that will beat the overall market if they can achieve this rate. And if you take a look at Square, they're expected to grow at over 35% per year over the next 5 years as well. So some massive growth numbers and growth expectations for the two financial tech giants. As well, taking a look at Simply Safe Wall Street, they expect PayPal to grow at a rate of 21% average annual earnings growth over the next 3 to 4 years. If we take a look at the chart, this is where PayPal sits today, and they're expecting top-line revenue to continue to grow at an exponential rate, and earnings following that same trend, reaching over $5 billion within the next few years. If we take a look at Square's chart for the same Simply Safe Wall Street, they expect over 57% annual earnings growth, which is absolutely massive, and they expect the company to continue to grow and reach new highs in both revenue and earnings once again over the next few years. Both of these fintech giants have seen nice growth on their income statement as well. Total revenues for PayPal continue to go up at a nice rate, and they have more than doubled in the past 5 years. 2015, they brought in $9.2 billion in total revenue, up to over $19.2 billion in a 5-year span. Each and every year, they're beating previous year's revenue estimates and results by a massive amount. And if we take a look, PayPal has been profitable over the past 5 years as well, and each and every year they bump up their net income at a very nice rate and have brought in close to $2.6 billion in net income over the past 12 months. So overall, these companies have some solid revenue growth. And if we take a look at PayPal's balance sheet, they have over $46.5 billion in total current assets, which have been continuing to grow each and every year. Compare that to their total current liabilities of only $33 billion. So they have a nice high current ratio, well above 1. If we take a look at the overall ratio, coming in at around $63 billion in total assets, compared to around $45 billion in total liabilities. So another solid overall ratio for PayPal, above 1, no financial worry for this company in the short term or the long term right now, and total equity for PayPal has continued to grow at a nice rate each and every year. Now if we take a quick peek at Square's financials, they have seen total revenue growth on an exponential chart as well, only $1.2 billion in total revenue 5 years ago, up over $5.8 billion in the past 12 months. So very nice year-over-year revenue growth coming in from this fintech company. And overall, their net income has grown nicely. They were posting net losses 4 or 5 years ago, but each and every year you can see they lost less and less money. And then in 2019, they reached profitability. And in the past 12 months, they brought in $303 million of total net income. So both of these companies have seen some fast revenue growth and are both now profitable. Square's balance sheet still very strong, coming in at around $6.1 billion of total current assets, compared to $3.6 billion in total current liabilities. Now, if we take a look at total assets, $7.8 billion in total assets compared to $5.8 billion of total liability. And another company that has seen nice equity growth year over year, which is a great sign for this growth company. So both PayPal and Square have some nice financial statements. Income and revenue are growing year over year. They have strong balance sheets with current ratios above 1, so there's no financial worry over the short term, and both companies are expected to grow at a very fast rate. Both of these fintech companies have entered into the Bitcoin space, and these are some major headlines that we knew we had to discuss on the channel. For me personally, even though I only invest in dividend growth stocks, PayPal has always been the one company, if I were to get into growth stocks that do not pay out a dividend, that I am attracted to. I love their business model. I love how they generate revenue. I love the ease of their platform. I use PayPal all the time in order to use my personal shopping experience, and I love the platform. And I like investing in companies that I personally use and personally enjoy. Because if I use them and I like them, I'm sure others feel the same way. And those are the companies that I believe can sustain long-term growth if the users themselves enjoy using the platform. So PayPal for me is a solid company right now. I like the future growth estimates, and I do believe they will be able to hit those metrics over the next 3 to 5 years. So if you want to get into the fintech space, these are two of the major players you're going to want to take a look at. They've both entered into the Bitcoin market, which is still new, still developing, and may be the future, but it may not be. So these may be some high-risk investments for both companies, but hopefully over the short term and the long term, they can work out and end up pretty profitable. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. I am the Gen Z Investor, and see you in tomorrow's video.